Hello and welcome to my not buying clothes annual update. Happy third year of not having bought clothes and just making everything that I want and using the stuff that I've already got. So I've posted about it before, but 3 years ago I decided I was going to fully stop purchasing clothes. I make my own clothes, I knit, I crochet, I sew, and so I'm not buying clothes, and that includes secondhand or like anything else. I'm still accepting clothing as gifts, so if someone's like, hey, do you want this t-shirt and I do want it, I'll take it, or if I don't, I won't. And I'm still making my own clothes, so no purchasing, just making what I've got and just using the things that I've already got. I didn't make anything that I'm wearing today, they're just things that I bought from before I started doing this challenge. So welcome to the third year. As I've mentioned, each year so far, I generally have broken this no purchasing rule, but it's usually like one item per year, which I think is probably still fine to keep doing and continue reflecting on. This year has been the heaviest purchasing year, with a grand total of 5 items purchased, which when I think about what I was buying before, and if you consider how many items people normally buy over a year, is still very nothing. But I am still, I don't want to say disappointed. I feel very justified in my purchases, and I'll go through everything that I bought. I'm disappointed with one of them. But I would say that is higher than I want it to be. I want it to be 0 to 1. So as with every year, I seem to have needed a circus item for performing, which I've not been able to make. And this year it was a morph hood. So I was doing a Slender Man type character for Halloween. I'd been Death in previous years, and then this year I thought it'd be quite fun to do Slender Man as like stilt walking, put on a little suit, which I purchased years ago. And like, one of the things that really prompted me to do this was like the idea, I still have a lot of clothing that I've had since I was like 18, and like if that's not worn out. So I was wearing the suit jacket that I purchased with my mum from Next in Kingston when I was 16 years old and going into the sixth form when they made us wear suit jackets. So I was wearing that jacket, 32. I was 31 at the time because it's Halloween, I've had a birthday since then. And ties and shirts that I've had from previous jobs. I think I bought the shirt in like 2016, so like 8 years ago, and God, it hasn't even had that much wear out of it. This is the issue about having loads of clothes. You just don't necessarily wear stuff out all that quickly. But the thing that I didn't have was a hood, because that's not a standard item. I didn't need that for sixth form. I've never needed that for an office job. So unsurprisingly, and we didn't have anything particularly good in the house because I'm also married to a LARPer who has a whole load of LARPing clothes. So costume wise, we can still get away with quite a lot without needing to purchase anything. Between like a big general daily wardrobe, a certain amount of dressing up stuff, and my partner's dressing up stuff, like we're fairly covered with so much of like what we need, and that's quite a nice way for me to be. Asked about if anybody had one, no one did. Had a look on Marketplace to see if I could find one second hand. I could not, and it was such a specific item I didn't feel like I wanted to try and trawl around charity shops. Had a look at making one, it didn't really have anything that would look right. So okay, I'll buy one. So I bought a brand new morph hood, and really annoyingly, like used it for all the promotional stuff, and it was quite tricky to see, and I thought, well, it's the sun's going in my eyes, so that's why. So I was stood there taking photos, doing the like promotional videos and things with this morph hood on. Got there for the first day of the Halloween event that I was doing, because it's a multi-week thing, and put it on, couldn't see. I had to take my glasses off because it's a morph hood, which is fine. I've done stuff without glasses on and I can still see sufficiently to be safe. I can see any sort of hazards that are on the ground. I can see anybody walking towards me. I can see people like asking for high fives and stuff without glasses on. But with this hood, it just completely knocked my vision out, which I was not expecting because I'd worn a morph suit the previous year, but that was black, and it was just the way that the light reflected off it. I couldn't see. It wasn't safe. So ended up in a mad scramble anyway, having a go at making something. I put a different mask on for the evening. It was still fine. People were still calling me Slenderman, even though it was like a black hood, which looked nothing like it. So I guess that gives you an idea as well about how not important it was for me to have that morph hood. I ended up making something anyway. I was trying various different things with tights, the mask that you get that's just like the white face, like the plastic theatre masks, because we had some of those. And I speed knit a balaclava that was white, which looks kind of haunted anyway. So I ended up wearing that. Overall, I don't think the effect was too good anyway. I put the tights on over top and that didn't really work, so I ended up with something not too great. Basically, I haven't found a way that I can make the costume look good and right, either with something that I purchased or not. So now I have this really useless hood. I guess if I want to try and persuade people that I'm Slenderman at 5'2", when I'm on the ground and it feels safer to perform with it, I can do that. But yeah, I've still got it. I haven't decluttered it yet, but yeah, the purchase that I thought was going to be my one circus purchase of the year. So what else did I buy? I saw Iron Maiden this year. Iron Maiden are my favourite band. I know Lena Norms did a video about how tattoos are going to destroy fast fashion. And yeah, I've got Iron Maiden tattoos. Here's Eddie. Hey, Seventh Son album. There's another one on my leg. I'm not flashing on YouTube. It's not easy enough to move my shorts. But yeah, I've got Iron Maiden tattoos. They're my favourite band. I've had such a good time in the community as a teenager. It was a really integral part of my growing up. There's a lot of fondness and nostalgia, as well as just being a big fan of the music and enjoying seeing them. And I went and I bought a t-shirt when I saw them on tour. The last time that I saw them was 5 years ago in 2018, which is the last time they played London, and my intention is to keep seeing them play London for as long as they will, and I'm sure they'll go for as long as they possibly can. And I've bought a tour shirt every time I've seen them. And honestly, I think I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to continue doing that. When I started this journey, one of the things that I thought was going to make it tricky was t-shirts from independent musicians. I've not really felt the urge to buy like t-shirts from my mate's band. I know that it's like a helpful way to support an artist, but I've mostly just been focusing on buying their CDs as opposed to either on Bandcamp, completely digitally, no environmental footprint, and they still get loads of the money, unlike listening on Spotify or something like that, or like physically in person, so I'd have the disc, which again they then keep for like ever. Looking at all the CDs that I bought in like when I was 14 that are still just hanging around in my living room now, like 20 years later almost, 18 years later. And yeah, I still want the Iron Maiden shirts, and I think I'm probably going to buy at least one tour shirt. I bought two, which was excessive. I can't bring myself to care. I also bought a silk scarf which had Iron Maiden on it. Again, I can't bring myself to care. It has the coolest aesthetic on it, which is the Somewhere in Time Eddie. And yeah, I was thinking about justifying this. I was thinking about what I wanted to say in this video, and it was like, well, you know, I don't see Iron Maiden very regularly. I'm not exactly like doing the massive fast fashion purchases that I used to do. It used to be sort of bags and bags from Shein, like I'd spend hundreds of pounds sometimes, and that would be maybe once a year or like twice a year maximum, that I'd be dropping like hundreds of pounds on clothes, and I'm not doing that anymore. It's very different to that. And I was thinking, well, like they're not going to be touring forever. Did I need a t-shirt? No. Did I buy a t-shirt anyway? Yeah. Am I thinking about justifying it and talking about it? Yes, but I don't know. I bought a t-shirt. I bought an Iron Maiden t-shirt. I went and saw my favourite band. And I bought a t-shirt, and I'm not sorry. I bought two t-shirts and a silk scarf that I think I can wear to work if I'm doing a sort of 9 to 5 again. That is what it is. They're not going to be touring forever, so That sad note, I also bought another t-shirt from a band called Rage. They're my second favourite band. They're much smaller. Went and saw them in a venue where they were like, it was like maybe a capacity of 2 to 500 as opposed to whatever Wembley Stadium is in thousands. So I went and saw them. I was like, I don't have a t-shirt from them. They're a band that I discovered within the past like 6 or 7 years. I'd seen them when they were playing with, I think, Freedom Call. Super good, super amazing. I love the music. I don't have any of their t-shirts, and I felt like I want that as part of my life and part of my wardrobe. So I bought the tour shirt for the tour that I saw them on. I'm not intending on ever buying another one of their t-shirts, not because the purchase was bad, just because I've bought one. I wanted one, I've got one, and I don't need to buy any more. So I've got their Spread the Plague tour, which was very cool, wonderful sort of German thrash metal. I also bought their CDs, and I also bought a patch. I'm still not quite sure how I want to use patches. I seem to have accumulated quite a lot. I did have a battle jacket, which is like the denim jacket with the sleeves cut off. I took it apart and I actually gave the denim jacket away to a charity shop because it was just, I was never wearing it. So I thought about doing some jeans. I thought about maybe trying to make a jacket with some other little bits of denim, maybe even out of the same pair of jeans. So I'm still thinking about that one. I've not worked it out, or whether I just want to put individual patches on lots of different items of clothing. So yeah, those were all of my purchases. Technically, I did also buy some swimming trunks, but that was for my partner, who was just that, like, I can't go swimming tonight unless I have swimming trunks. And I was like, I'm going to be in town today. I'll buy you some swimming trunks. So I just went into whatever shop and bought them. JD Sport or whatever. I haven't been counting that in my totals, being that it wasn't for me. So that was all of my purchasing that I did this year. Absolutely wild. Last of the big spenders. Five whole items. Probably maybe totaling up to even £100. I think it was £60 at Iron Maiden. The Morford was 20, so that makes 80. I don't know that Rage charged £20 for their t-shirt. I think if we include the patch, that's definitely into 20 or over 20. I can't remember if it's 15 or 20. Quite a lot of the time or maybe it was even 10. I can't remember. It was last summer. I know what you did last summer, but I can't remember how much it cost. So I was also thinking about like anything else that I was reflecting on. One of the things that I spoke about before was my concern about things that I might need to buy in the future, being jeans and underwear, and the temptation to purchase band t-shirts. So I've spoken quite extensively on the temptation to purchase band t-shirts. I have felt no desire to purchase jeans. I seem to have accumulated them so well, and I don't know why I bought so many in the past. I think maybe I needed to have like really tidy jeans for a couple of things, so I'd like bought new jeans because then they would be like darker and blacker, as opposed to thinking about other things like dyeing them or sewing up little holes and things like that. And then I'd still worn holy versions just for different occasions. But yeah, I haven't made jeans yet. I have a desire to. It's very intimidating as a project. I have made a pair of trousers which I can wear, and some people call jeans, which are like stripy trousers, but they're made of a slightly stretchy material. So they're not like jeans and denim. But I've just been wearing what I've already got, and that seems to be going absolutely fine. And many of those things that I've had has been like some of the stuff is stuff that I bought as a teenager, which apparently I still fit in and like as a style, and other things that I've bought. Even like pretty much all of the jeans that I've got are second hand. I've got a few pairs from Primark. So yeah, there's been no temptation to purchase jeans. There's been no worry about not having enough. It's been sort of an abundant situation rather than scarcity. I'm not wearing bras as much as I used to, possibly a bit TMI. So I'm feeling no need to purchase bras at all. And I think, like I said in my last video, I've worked out that even if I can't make something which looks exactly like a thing that you would buy, like the moulded cup bra, I can still make something which will perform the same function. So I don't really need them for support, but sometimes I'll want like a layer of protection against clothing which is a little bit stiffer, so like more structured work clothing, sort of dresses and things like that, and also to avoid like nipple poke through. And I can achieve that through other means, such as like padding through. I predominantly done it through knitting, but I suppose I could quilt something, could possibly end up with something that looks quite similar to a moulded cup that was just made from like quilted fabric. I don't know. I'll do something. I've got stretch fabric. I've got loads of bras already. I have a friend that occasionally has been giving me the bras that she's had, which have either gone through the washing machine and got destroyed, or just ones that have faded out and she doesn't like them, and we happen to be the same size, so I am also getting like 2 or 3, and that's more than enough, so there's no temptation there. And I've been making knickers for myself in various different styles. More than happy with that. They perform all of the function that I need them to. I've tried different materials, different methods. I have knitted pants now. Other people have been wearing some of the like merino wool ones, especially for things like hiking, or the one bagging community, which I lurk on Reddit, where they talk about how if you're going like hiking or regularly away and things like that, you don't necessarily need to wash the wool as much. So now I have my own merino wool knickers, which I knit myself, and you know what, they look great. They had their first wear this week. They're currently like air drying from when I washed them. They may go straight from drying to my body again. I'm very proud of them. They look great. They feel great. The other big change that I've had this year is I've started to move into decluttering. So one of the things that I've been struggling with, like in general and with like purchasing items, is I always find it hard to throw things away, because there's a lot of stuff where it feels like I don't just want to throw it in the bin, I don't want to waste it. Some very uncomfortable self-reflections of, well, if I've had it, I've probably made it worse, so now I can't give it away to anybody. Like, I've taken this piece of clothing that somebody else had, like in a charity shop, and they kept it really well, and then I've had it and I've not kept it well. Like, it's been made worse by being in my presence, and now I can't pass it on to a charity shop again or whatever, because it's now been made worse by me wearing it. And yeah, horrible revelation to find in my subconscious, but it was there. And also it is incorrect, so I've now found the way that I can pass it on to that. But one of the things that I've become better at doing is partially, I think, because we have that scarcity mindset, and that keeps us in purchasing. And we just keep accumulating and accumulating and accumulating with no decumulating, with no shrinking, with no decluttering, de-dooming, as we've been calling it recently. And so I'm considering it a little bit more like when you do like a body transformation, like at the gym. So you have like whatever state you start with, and then you have like a bulking phase where you build up your muscles to look big and strong and make your back muscles pop out, or your hips look, can you tell I've never done this? You go through a phase of going from like how you were, you bulk, so you change from where you were to kind of where you want to be with it, and then you move to a maintenance phase. So if you keep doing say workouts and stuff like that, you can remain looking as you did in this phase, but you don't need to build to it. So I'm thinking of things a little bit more like those kinds of phases, where we assess what situation we're in, what one we want to be in, and then move towards that in different ways. So I had where I was, so I just stopped I've been in an accumulation phase. I stopped that, so then I was in just like maintenance phase, and I've done that with a whole load of things in my life. So bathroom products, I realised how many I've got, and it's like, I'll just use what I've got. Clothing, I'll just use what I've got. Books, I seem to have still been accumulating, so I want to put that into a maintenance phase for a bit. So just read what I've already got, pass them on, only buy new when I'm actually starting to shrink that. A whole load of other things. Food, like weirdly snacks and stuff. So there's always stuff that hangs around in the back of the cupboard, like different spices and things, like just need to use what I've got, just need to change the way that I'm cooking so that I can use all of the things that are in the house that have been hanging around for ages. Tupperware, stuff like everything, notebooks. I've been in this kind of maintenance phase. It's really helped to see what I've got, and just to be using it, and to think about the kind of declutter that I want to get to, especially for consumables, food, bathroom products and things like that. I've seen the amount that I've got go down and start to look at something that's a bit more manageable, a bit more sensible, a bit more sustainable. And then when I've made a purchase, I've been excited at the vegan market and bought 3 soaps. I can see how long they've been hanging around in my house for. 3 soaps I bought in March haven't been touched at all because I'm still going through, and I probably didn't need to buy them. So I've been kind of going through that maintenance phase. And the thing that I'm starting to move towards, particularly with clothing, although I've been doing it a little bit in some areas of my life as well, is a decluttering phase. So it was accumulation, kind of a maintenance of like, we're not going to buy anything, which by itself was scary. There was a response to that, and I think that's part of the thing of like, these are going to be the things that are scary. What if I want to buy a band t-shirt? Like what if I need jeans? I can't make jeans. That's really tricky. I've got enough long skirts and those are really easy to make, and I can just make another one if I need it, but jeans and bras and things like that, I don't know how to make those, and what if I run out? What if someone comes in and steals them all in the night? Like, oh, it's not gonna happen. But I needed to have that panic, but like stay firm. And now it's like, oh, actually everything's fine. Time to start decluttering. I read a thing before about, or someone said something about like, the Japanese only eat until they're 70% full. And I know, I've latched onto it. I'm a kind of wordsy person. But I've latched onto the idea of 70% full because I'm not a minimalist and I don't want everything to be sparse. That makes me feel uncomfortable and I really dislike it aesthetically and objecty wise and all of that. But I think I quite like the idea of everything being 70% full. So there's a little bit of space if you need to use it, if you want to move things around. It's not everything is jam-packed, but a little bit of breathing space for everything. I have not achieved this in any way, but I like the idea of it. And that includes clothing. So I have been decluttering. I have done probably, if you're somebody that regularly clears your wardrobe or regularly declutters or really enjoys getting rid of stuff, then maybe I've done the most baby little pathetic first steps of decluttering, and maybe next year I'll be here saying about how I've done more, but I've started, and actually that's really important. So I've got rid of a whole load of t-shirts, I think a whole load, probably got rid of 5, so I've done a kind of 1 in 1 out system. I may have got rid of more than that. Rid of the Swiss Park one and that tarot card and the tea that I got from Joe, which I quite liked but don't really wear all that much. I've got other ones that I like more. So a few of those, that one jumper which I kind of bought but like I kind of liked it and I did wear it, but also it wasn't quite right, but it was sort of like okay at the time. That one's gone. I don't need that anymore. So I've decluttered, I'd say quite a lot. I've decluttered a few items and some of them have come out of my wardrobe, which I did not expect to have. I did not expect to have happen when I started this. I was like, okay, I'm just going to have what I've got and that's fine, and I'll just add a few little bits here and there, and that'll be it. That'll be my wardrobe. I never expected to be giving stuff away out of it. And some of the stuff I've been giving away has also been things that I've made, either like I've given away things like intentionally. I have been making a little bit more for other people as well as for me, so I like made a jumper for my partner, and I've got another one that I'm making. But obviously when you marry somebody that's fucking massive and really tall, it takes a while to knit them a jumper, so I've stalled a little bit on that one. I only have 1 sleeve left to go in the neckband. It'll be fine. It's not cold at the moment anyway. So some of the stuff I've been intentionally making for other people, but I've also been giving away things that I've made, which I made for me, and I just like, you know what, it didn't quite come out right, and it's not that there's anything wrong with it, it's just that it's not what I wanted. There is nothing wrong with this cardigan. I had it in a previous video for my avid 3 regular viewers. but it's just really colourful. It's too colourful. It's got too many colours. There's a slight way that the join that's up here, this shouldn't have had this gap. These however many inches, I'm not good at estimating, these however many inches should have gone all the way to the top rather than joining it, and I should have worked out the structure in other ways. And the colours are both fine, and together they should theoretically make sense, but also this makes my eyes bleed. And also this is this isn't the right drape for the fabric, because I know it said Aran, but the pattern that I was following that I liked that had the nice drape, it was a knits as Aran rather than an is Aran, and this is actually kind of technically a chunky, and it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but I can see everything wrong with it. So go it away and my friend's gonna have it. And I think part of that as well is the self-esteem thing, that it's bad because I've touched it. And I think one of the interesting things that I want to consider a little bit more when thinking about like environmentalism and things is the idea of provenance. So I was talking to someone a while ago, and it said I quite like the idea of object memory, that you've put the memories into the object while you've been wearing it, and that then, well, you've had it, and that then makes it more valuable. And they were like, no, daft. It was like, okay, but like, what about a stovepipe hat from the 1800s versus Abraham Lincoln's stovepipe hat from the 1800s? Are you saying that those two things have the same value? It's like, oh, yeah, no, that's different. I can see what the little ineffable quality is there. And I think I don't want to go from like complete trash to like absolute value, but I know that like to ridiculous big-headedness. But I know that I have people that like me, and I know that some people think I'm very cool, and I know that very many people, like probably a lot of people, would think that I'm not great, but like I also think that maybe I shouldn't listen to those people. But many people who would probably have thoughts that I am exactly as good or bad as anyone else, and totally fine. So something being with me doesn't make it worse. Some people might think it makes it better. And some people like really value things like it's a handmade item. Somebody made this. This makes it so valuable. It's a cardigan that someone knitted that I like, and I get to wear this piece where so much labour went into it. And knowing that those people exist and they're in my life, because that's the sort of people I found, has then meant that I've been like, hey, I've had this. This was one of my favourite items. Do you want it? And knowing that I've had it and that I've loved it and that I've worn it and that it's been with me to whatever events and cool things that I've done makes it more valuable for some people and doesn't devalue it really for anybody, apart from the memory of my past self that had bad self-esteem. So in some ways having things and then being able to give them away, I've not made them worse, I've made them better or changed them in any way. So that's been a really, I think, helpful thing for getting rid of stuff. The idea of giving items provenance, because I don't know, I like vintage things. I like when I find something and it's got somebody's handwritten notes in it. That makes it more valuable for me. That makes it more special. So why would I assume that my handwritten notes stuffed into a book that then goes into a charity shop would be any less valuable? And the same for clothing. Stuff that I've made, stuff that I've worn, stuff that I've modified for me, stuff that I've made for other people, that has value. And that's been really nice. Something else that's been helpful, just to mention, with the decluttering, because I've been following that quite anxious, but what if I need it, but I still really like it, is one, thinking that the clothes aren't going to be sad because I've rejected them. It doesn't matter that it's nice, it doesn't need to live in my house. But also there's like the Marie Kondo thing, and I don't usually like Marie Kondo methods, but for a lot of her stuff, but the method of thanking things when it leaves your house, I find it kind of helpful for some of the items. The very specific case where you go, I do not need you, I still really like you, but like it's not right anymore. And having that kind of break up with a t-shirt that she really liked when you bought it, but like you don't wear it anymore, you don't need it, it no longer represents your values, and it's time for it to move on, and you know that. I'm thinking of my Swiss Park t-shirt that I bought in Switzerland when I was on a school skiing trip. Love that t-shirt, but I'm never gonna wear it. It's just hanging out. It's got all those lovely Switzerland memories to it, but I don't need it. It can go. And that went to a charity shop. And someone else can have Cartman playing a Alpenhorn or whatever. That's not mine anymore. So yeah, we'll see where I am next year. My hopes for this following year is that I purchase 0 things, as always. If I can't get it to 0, as close to 0 as possible, so it is entirely possible I will need 1 item that I can't make, or that my boss can't make for me, for circus performing. Or I might need something for if I'm in different jobs. If I need something kind of quickly, I may have to do a purchase rather than a make. But I'm remaining hopeful that I won't have to buy anything. I won't have to buy anything new, and that I will continue my decluttering journey, and that at some point I will gather up the courage to learn how to make jeans. While recognising that there is no rush. I do not need to make them this month or next month. It's not a panic. I was like you to stop talking. Sorry, if I knew how to edit videos, I'd all cared to learn. I might edit that out. But yeah, my hopes for next year are to continue to declutter, to continue to learn how to make the things that I want to have in my house, to keep gifting and just making for other people, and gifting away the things that I have that I do not need, because it feels really nice when you do, and then you get that little declutter, and to continue reflecting on it. So it's been a little bit of a challenge. The year's been difficult for a lot of things. I had a mental breakdown last year. And I'm still recovering from that. Dropped out of uni. I'm still hopeful for the future and hopeful for what I'm moving towards, but it's been a tough time. But like, I've done really minimal clothing purchase, and none of it's been emotional. I've never been sad and needing to buy clothes, so that's important too. You can fit a lot of rubles in a dead rat if you really try. And I'll see you next year, if not before. Might make a video on something else before then. See you later.